All My Rage is one of the best books I have ever read, and I think it is the best book of 2022.
Come out, Virginia, what you waiting for? What you waiting for? What you waiting for? Got your ball gown on and you lock the door, and you lock the door, and you lock the door.
Hello everyone, my name is Andrea. If you don't know me, you should stick around for a while and subscribe. But today I'm going to be doing my book review on All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. It has been a while since I've done a book review on my channel, which I used to do them a lot. Like, filming book reviews is my favorite video to film. I love doing book reviews, and I feel like I don't know what happened. I don't know if books haven't been coming out that I want to review, or I just like don't get the time to, but I really miss doing book reviews, so I am so excited to be doing this one. The beginning of this video will be non-spoiler. I will tell you guys before I go into spoilers, because I do have some spoiler thoughts I need to share for those of you who have already read All My Rage, but the beginning of this video will not have spoilers. Don't worry, I will not spoil you. So let's just get into my review on All My Rage. So I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars immediately. All My Rage is one of the best books I have ever read, and I think it is the best book of 2022. Hands down. All My Rage is centered basically around 3 main characters who we get all 3 point of views from. One of them is Mispa, who is a Pakistani immigrant who moved to America and has a family. Another main character is Noor. When Noor was younger, she lived in Pakistan and had to move to America and live with her uncle. Noor is a high school student. She wants to do more with her life. She wants to get out of the town she's living in Juniper, California. She wants to do more and be more. But her uncle is the drawback. Her uncle wants her to stay rooted where she is and take over the liquor store business that he owns when she gets out of high school. And finally, our other main character is Salah, who is a Pakistani American. He finds himself having to make some tough decisions in order to keep his family's business, which is the Clouds Rest and Motel. He has to keep that business alive, deal with some other things with his parents that have their own issues, and it's just overall a very hard-hitting book. Noor and Salahuddin are best friends, but when we meet them in the beginning of the book, they actually have had a fight, so we don't actually see them engaging with each other. We just are learning things, and it's just a book that hits you over and over in the chest, but every time you're like, yes, like, I want more. I want the story. I want to feel it. I want this to crack me in the heart. Like, I just want to feel everything that the characters are feeling. And that's just how I felt. Immediately, you are drawn into this book. Like, within the first 3 to 5 chapters, you are in this book. You are ready to learn about Noor and learn about Salahuddin, learn about Mispa's beautiful words and journey. It's just crazy how good this book actually is. I gave it 5 stars. I would give it 1,000,000 stars if I could. It's honestly something that I think comes once in a lifetime. Like, it's something that you can only read for the first time once, and I am just grateful to have been alive in a time where I could read this by Sabaa Tahir, and I'm just grateful that she wrote it. I am just grateful that I got to experience this story. And on an even brighter note too, I got an arc of this by Penguin Teen. Thank you to Penguin Teen. So I did get to read this early, and just the whole time that I had read it and I was just sitting with it, and I was like, this book is amazing. When it comes out on release day, people that get it in their hands are going to be in for such a treat, because it is just so freaking good. I loved it so much that you probably saw, but I even did a giveaway on this. I gave away 2 brand new copies of All My Rage when it came out, because I needed more people to have it. Like, I wish I could give everybody that watches my channel, watches this video, I wish I could give everybody one, because I want so many people to read it and know Noor and Salahuddin and Mispa's story. Like, I just want everyone to know them. It's like these characters are so real to me. They mean so much to me, and I just want everybody to know them. That may sound crazy, but that's just how I feel. So there's so many great quotes in this book. Sabaa Tahir's writing style is literally one of a kind. It's so brilliant. It's so gorgeous. She writes kind of the flowery writing, but not so much, not too much. Like, it's the perfect balance of, okay, this is beautiful, but it's not in the form of like, oh, these metaphors do not like make sense and it's too much. It's just perfect. It's literally gorgeous. And I don't think a lot of writers can write gorgeously. Like, her word choice, the sentence structure, everything is so freaking amazing. There's not much more I can say without giving spoilers, but I do want to tell you guys the trigger warnings. And I know when I got the ARC, I got an e-ARC, and it had the trigger warnings in there, and it also does have a listing of the trigger warnings in here. So it says, All My Rage contains the following content: drug and alcohol addiction, physical abuse, Islamophobia, mentions of repressed sexual assault, tense exchange with law enforcement, and death. And definitely all of those, like all of those heavy issues, topics, sufferings, tragedies, all of them occur in this book. And at points it was almost not too much. It was just where I needed to sit and like absorb what I had read and think about it for a second, think about the impact it has on the characters, think about the impact it would have on people that this does happen to. These things do happen to. People deal with it. I could relate so much to many of these characters. Even though I may not have went through exactly what they have, I know people who have. I know people who have struggled with addiction. Like, I'm gonna get really real on my channel real quick, but like, my uncle struggled with addiction before he passed away, and like, it led to him having issues, having health issues, and him passing away in 2020. And so, you know, it's just tough. It's tough. And reading this book and being able to relate, because I think like a lot of people don't understand that even though books are fiction and they're supposed to be for fun, when they deal with real world topics, I feel like it can help you heal. It can help you understand things better. It can help you see from a different perspective, and that's what this book did. And I don't think that she set out to, you know, heal people. She set out to tell the story of Noor and Salahuddin and Mispa, and that just, their journey and their life is just so strong and so impactful that I think it's going to definitely affect readers in a positive way, hit them in a maybe painful cry yourself to sleep kind of way, but overall just will leave them speechless and never being able to forget these characters. And that's how I feel. Alright, that's gonna be it for the non-spoiler part. I don't know what else I can say except please go grab a copy of All My Rage. I truly think this is something that nobody would want to miss out on, and that you definitely should not miss out on. But that's all I have to say for the non-spoiler part. So if you do not want to be spoiled for All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir, leave this video now, because I'm going to be getting into spoilers in like 1 second. Alright guys, let's get into it. Let's get into the spoilers. I cannot get over, and I think you can tell by every word I've spoken about All My Rage since before it was released, since I read it, since this video started, how much I am obsessed with this book. And it's surreal to have it in my hands because I didn't get a physical copy ARC, I got the e-ARC. So having it in my hands and having a tangible thing to hold of this book that has quickly become one of my favorite things ever is one of the best feelings, and I want to reread it. I can't wait to go in and tab it and highlight it and make it my own. But I do have a lot of quotes that I highlighted on the ebook that I have ready on my phone I want to share with you guys, and that'll help me like go through the book and go through my thoughts and like some of the big things that I felt. I didn't even write down anything like what I wanted to talk about because I just have all these feelings in me for All My Rage, and I could never express them on paper or on notes like enough. Like, we're just gonna have to go through these. So while I find these, something else that's really cool is that Penguin Tina invited me to listen to Sabaa Tahir talk about it in a Zoom chat, and that was very special. And just the way that Sabaa Tahir talked about it, and that she's been working on this book for years, like I think she said 15 years when she initially thought of the ideas and everything, like actually came to be to now. That's a long time to be sitting on a book, and I understand why, because it's literally so freaking good, guys. So early on in the book, Salahuddin, okay, let me just go by character maybe. So Salahuddin is, I love him so much, and I did not really understand at first that there was the big issue, the big trauma that happened in his past. I didn't pick up on that very quickly. You know, she did a good job of interweaving the sexual assault part of Salahuddin's life and then the physical abuse by Chachu to Noor. That the way that Sabaa Tahir repeated that saying that Noor would tell to herself, that Chachu is the person who saved me, he's the reason that I have a home here, he pulled me out from the rubble in Pakistan of my house with my family all dead. the fact that that was repeated over and over, and Sabaa Tahir mentioned this on the Zoom chat. She said that her editors were like, why do you have this over and over? Why do you keep saying this? Like, you've already said it, you don't need to say it again. And she was like, no, if you don't understand, you don't get it. You don't understand. Like, if you don't get it, that's not on me. But it was part of the story. It was part of how Noor was dealing with the physical abuse. She wasn't gonna keep, you know, focusing on the fact that she was getting hit and beat by her uncle. She was gonna keep remembering that he is the person who saved her, and then have that like savior complex, because that's what manipulators do. That's actually, you know, real world what happened. Your brain pushes the bad away, but your body understands and knows and is scared, and it causes you to have these like defense mechanisms in your brain to, you know, block out the bad things. And so that, when I realized why she said Noor was saying that to herself, oh my god, I told my husband, I was like, you don't know anything about this book, but let me tell you what I think is gonna happen. And I told him, I was like, I think Chachu is beating Noor. I think he is hurting her, physically abusing her. And when I figured out that I was right, and that Noor was doing that to herself, and like every time he did that, she blocked it out by saying that. How does Sabaa Tahir even like do that? Like, most authors I don't think would take that liberty of putting in just this writing stylistic choice of not showing the abuse, but if you know, you know. And oh my god, that was so painful, so beautiful to read, to understand, to grasp, but also so heartbreaking. And so much of the book was heartbreaking. I got away from Salahuddin, sorry, but Noor just jumped into my head. I love Noor, I love Salahuddin, I love Mispa so much. But a quote by Salahuddin, this is when they're in the hospital, when Mispa has become really sick. She's like on her deathbed, and Salahuddin's dad is making a scene because he is drunk, and Salahuddin is like, it will be fine. I wipe my eyes. In a few hours, you'll be writing about this in your journal, because it will be the past instead of the now, and everything will be fine. Just having to tell yourself these things, having to tell yourself anything to get through the tough situation you're in, like, oh my, I just love Salahuddin. And the way that he cared for his father, who was an addict, a drunk, and just the way he cared so much. And then he was even pushed to the brink to where he almost couldn't care anymore. He was pushed so much that he was so angry at his father for becoming what he had and ruining their relationship and their family. And then when you find out why his father, his Abu, is like that, it's because he knows what Salahuddin went through when he was a child, and that has like fucked him up this entire time, knowing that he couldn't help his son, couldn't save his son, and then he lost his parents. Like, all of these things have just sent him over the edge. And so even though he wasn't one of the main characters, we really did see his life. When Noor was the one to be on Mispa's deathbed and the last one to see her alive and talk to her, I was so crying, one, but whenever Noor said this, I squeezed back, trying to give her strength, trying to repay her for all that she's given me. Take a few years for her, God. I don't need them. Oh my goodness. That hit me. I don't know how, like, Sabaa Tahir is so brilliant, but that hit me. It really did. And then when Mispa was like, forgive Noor, and Noor was like trying to think that it meant that Noor needed to forgive Salahuddin, but it was the whole time it was Mispa saying for Noor to forgive her for Mispa not saving her when she knew what was going on with Noor, and she wanted her to be hers and to keep her safe. Oh, so many little things at the beginning that you find out at the end that had bigger impacts and bigger, like, had it more to do, there was more stuff to do with them. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but that was brilliant. All right, another example of Sabaa Tahir's brilliant writing was this line in Salahuddin's perspective. When I finally got to her hospital room, Amma's IV had been taken out. The machines clustered around her like sentinels in mourning, having failed in their mission to keep her alive. How do you think to compare machines to some, you know, beings that feel, and like that just shows how sad the room was, how sad Salahuddin seeing these things that were supposed to keep his mother alive and didn't, like, oh god. Okay, another quote I just really liked was this one. A stab of self-hatred pricks me, and I dance with it. Salah, like, this boy was hurting. This boy was hurting so much. I don't know, I love that line. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, I get it, Salah. Alright, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how much Salah liked Noor. So, at first, I was like, why did they have this big fight? Why did Salah not return Noor's embrace, you know? And then obviously we find he has like a touch aversion pretty much, which so many little aspects of the book, now I'm thinking about it, like I forgot about that. Like he really does, and we know why. But the fact that I was just wondering, like, maybe he doesn't actually like her, he doesn't love her like that, and they're just best friends. I don't know, he doesn't want that. And then the way he talks, you quickly learn that he does love Noor, and he doesn't know why he can't reciprocate those feelings. And so he was like, then there's a rustle beside me, the warmth of another body, and I'm looking down into Noor's well-dark eyes. My relief nearly drops me to my knees. When they were at Ahmad's funeral, and Salahuddin didn't even want his own girlfriend, but Noor, like, her presence was what made him okay. Bro. Yeah, on the topic of Ahmad's funeral, whenever Salahuddin was like, my arms don't move, tears don't come, I stand still as a statue, freezing because I forgot my jacket, staring at the coffin, wondering how someone who filled up a room could fit into a box so small. That line blew my mind. Someone so big could fit in a box so small. Like, the little scenes we got whenever they were meeting, like, family and people that came to Mispa's funeral celebration of her life. Arsalan, who was like Salahuddin's cousin, Salahuddin was like, Arsalan smiles at her and I step into his line of sight. That little line, like, that is just one sentence, and it doesn't mean a lot, but to me it shows how much Salahuddin loves Noor, because all Arsalan did was look at Noor and smile, and what is Salahuddin? He steps in his line of sight, so he can't even look at Noor. He can't even be smiling at her anymore, because Salahuddin is like, no. Like, that expresses love way more than like a big, like, long paragraph that another author would have to write to express that same sentiment. Sorry, but it does. The way that Sabaa Tahir wrote and talked about death was so beautiful. So whenever Salahuddin said this, or thought this, I'll survive this, I'll live, but there's a hole in me never to be filled. Maybe that's why people die of old age. Maybe we could live forever if we didn't love so completely, but we do. And by the time old age comes, we're filled with holes, so many that it's too hard to breathe, so many that our insides aren't even ours anymore. We're just one big empty space, wanting to be filled by the darkness, wanting to be free. Like I said, our boy was hurting. He was hurting. On the other hand of Salahuddin going through his, you know, treacherous, sad, tragedy life, Noor is going through bad stuff too. Like, these characters, these young teens went through so much. In Noor's point of view, we got this. He tries to smile. I want to tell him that he doesn't have to, that if he never wants to smile again, I get it, because I was 6 when my parents died and I still feel that ache. I like that because I think that, you know, whenever somebody has something bad happen and they're trying to be happy and they're trying to smile, I honestly am just like, don't. Like, you don't have to. You don't have to pretend that you're okay when you're not. Like, you don't have to pretend in front of me. And that's what Noor was saying. Like, don't smile. Like, you're not good. Like, you don't have to fake it for everybody, and you especially don't have to fake it for me. That's what Noor was saying. That's what she was thinking. Okay. All right. So this line was the best line, my favorite line in this book, and I don't really know why. Like, there's so many great ones, but this just hit me. And I feel like it's because I felt like Salahuddin, I felt like so helpless in my life, like at a certain point, like I have, and it was just like everything piled on everything, like one thing after another. And so this just perfectly encapsulated that. Okay, let me read it to you. Y'all probably didn't want me just to read all the quotes, but I'm gonna. Okay. My camera just turned off. Thanks, camera. Let's just keep going. So, I don't know what the last thing you heard, but let me read this quote. Okay. Above, the sky is murky from all the dust the wind stirred up, and I search the haze for even a single star. But there's nothing, so I give up and go into the father I don't know how to talk to, and the pictures I don't know how to look at, and the bills I don't know how to pay. So much on one Salahuddin's shoulders. So much. I wanted to just hug the poor boy, but he doesn't even want to hug, so I just wanted him to be okay. Another banger. We cannot always help the foolishness of our families. You're right, we can't. It's something you can't control how your family acts, even if you hate the way they act. You can't control it. And that kind of just hit me, and honestly, in a personal level, so that's why I like that. But let me keep going. Another banger. Here you go, guys. I miss things I can't put into words because they were taken before I knew how precious they were. Oh, so good, so good. Salahuddin's love for Noor. I want to sink into the swirls and eddies of her ocean. I want to understand her. Boys are not on Salahuddin's level right now in real life, let me tell you that. So as Noor is, dealing with her uncle, the way that Salahuddin talks about her and like lets the reader know, like basically we don't get anything from Noor's point of view on what's going on. We get it from the outside, and from Salahuddin looking at Noor and looking at her life thinking something is not right. It gives the reader that feeling too. And so Noor says something and Salahuddin is like, she says it in a voice that's not hers. It's Noor folded up and crumpled until she's nothing but tired creases. And that's how we know that girl ain't okay either. Honestly, I could go on and on. I have so many just things highlighted about the way that Salahuddin thought of Noor. I'm not gonna, but most of them are just his thoughts on Noor, which are so great. Okay, wait, I have to tell you guys one more. I smile to hide how much I hate that she just called me bro. I loved when Salahuddin said that about Noor. So as the book goes on, I feel like everything just gets heavier and heavier. So like when Sal ends up selling drugs, that was when I knew. I was like, this is gonna hurt. This shit's gonna hurt because he's gonna get caught. And whenever he did get caught, in the car with Noor in the car when they were finally like making up and she didn't know and he still like put her in that situation basically, I was just like, oh my god, like how are we gonna get through this? And then he literally does have to go to jail. Oh, I was upset. I was hurting. I was like, of course. I thought maybe, maybe he'll get out free, but it's such a real thing. Like it happens and you don't get out free. You have to do like your time. Like most authors I feel like would never do that. They would never actually throw a teen in jail in a book because they don't know how to like, time it. They don't know how to go from there. But Sabaa Tahir did. She freaking did that shit and it hurt. But the ending ultimately I think is hopeful. Not exactly happy, like there's still so many things, but it's hopeful, and that's the point I think. Oh, Mispa, whenever all of her like letters basically to Salahuddin, like she's basically like talking to him. She was like, her butchering of your beautiful name made me wonder how she became a teacher if she didn't know how to read simple letters. I love that quote because one, I hate people messing up names. Like I want to say people's names right because people say my name wrong all the time, especially teachers. And so like whenever Salahuddin moved to that school, is going to this new school, and the teachers just like don't care to say his name right, and then all the students are gonna follow what the teacher does. Like I hated that growing up. When we would have like a sub or even on the first day of class, I would always have to say my name, and the teachers like throughout the year would still get it wrong. And it's just the saddest thing. Like I feel like for us as like humans to have to go through, like we have these names our parents give us and they mean something, and like the people around us don't say it right. Like they don't take the time because they don't care, and that's just what I think. So I related to that and I was sad. Oh my god, whenever Mispa was like, she told us that she had that fortune teller or whatever read her what her life would be, and that she would have 3 children, a boy, a girl, and a third that is not she nor he nor of the third gender. And Mispa was like, the boy was Salahuddin, the third the motel, and this was the girl, my last child. She was already ready to take Noor as her child, whether that was just to help her, to take her in, or whether that was like for her to be with Salahuddin And I think Mispa always knew that they would find their way back to each other and be what each other needed and just like have their own family and their own life and like make it out of Juniper, California, and like be more than where they were raised, to be more than that place. Yeah, that hurt. While we're on the topic of Mispa, she was talking about Noor, and she said, "She was not of my body or my blood, this child, but she was of my soul." Of my soul, she said. Of a child that was not even hers. Oh my. All I know is pain. All I know is pain. I'm gonna give y'all pain too. This is Mispa. It's crazy that we get Mispa's point of view even from kind of like beyond the grave. Like we get her thoughts even when she's gone. So she's thinking back to whenever she was talking to Noor in the last moments of her life, and she says, "There was so much to say, that I loved her, that I should have done more for her, that I wanted to be a mother to her and a father, a grandfather and a grandmother, a sister, a brother. I wanted to be everything that she had lost, and I tried, but this body, this damn body." I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry right now. Mispa's love and that point of the book, that point of view in the book, just gave something so much special and brought so much life, just breathed life into this book. I feel like it was just beautiful. Okay, so like a couple things too, like at the end of the book when Salahuddin is in jail and Noor's like, "I don't care," and she's gotten out. Oh my god, she got out and went to college. I love that for Noor. And she's like, you know, she's finally overcome her fucking stupid ass uncle. Like, God, I hate that man so much, and I hate his girlfriend for knowing what he did to Noor and knowing and not helping her. I hate it. And Noor's living her best life. She's like, she did it. She got out of there. She wasn't going to jail because that was not her drug. She was not going to do that for Salahuddin, and he wasn't going to let her go to jail. And she's out and she's in college and she's living her freaking best life. And she's like, you know what? I can't think about Salahuddin right now. I have to live for myself. But then as time goes on, she's like, you know what? Is he sleeping okay? Is he bored in jail? Is he safe? Has he changed? Does he think about me? And then she starts sending him books. And that was just, she was reaching out a hand. She was reaching out a hand to let him know, I'm still here. I do still care. And I think that was beautiful. When Salahuddin finally goes to Mispa's grave and pours them a cup of tea and has tea with her, because she had asked over and over, have tea with me, and he's like, no, Aman, no. And then he finally does. And I think that's just the childhood thing. Like, you don't realize the little moments with your parents that could mean so much until they're gone, until you can't have them anymore. And so that was what that represented to me, and that, you know, wrecked me, of course, like the rest of the book. I was upset. The whole last page, the last Mispa chapter we got, just starting off with, in this, an endless whiteness, I feel my son. I feel Salahuddin. He is a heavy presence, weighed down by regret. But then he begins to speak to me. His voice is deeper now, thoughtful and measured. My son speaks, and my own spirit trills as he unburdens his. A mother carries her child's innocence in her memory, no matter who they become. We carry our hopes and dreams for them, and such things are woven into our souls as God is woven into the fibers of this earth. My son is alone for a time, and then he is not. As he is a steady oak, Noor Riaz is a breeze, warm and powerful and gentle, come to weave her song with his. And then she said, but I cringe away from her, and the whiteness brightens. I did not help her, I did not save her, I could not set it right. As soon as the thought forms, I feel her love for me, the love of a daughter, pure and kind as a desert morning, steady as the beat of a dolok. I feel her forgiveness. Oh, my children, my little ones, I have such dreams for you both. The world is right, finally. For here in this sweet, deep night, I see now that you were always two halves of a whole, two hands interlaced, two voices raised to a melody sung in time. Anyway, before I cry, everybody just say thank you, Sabaa Tahir, for that beauty of a book, the masterpiece of a book. That ending really was so good. One of the best books overall that I've ever read. I don't really know if I got all my thoughts out, but I hope I did. I hope you enjoyed this. I just think that I would never forget Noor and Salahuddin. I'm just so grateful to have read their story, and they are amazing, and Mispa is amazing, and the writing is amazing, and you know what? I love this book so much. So that's all I have to say. This was probably really long and rambly, but I don't care because Noor and Salahuddin and Mispa deserve it, and so does Sabaa Tahir. That's all I have to say. Let me know your thoughts. Like, please, if you've read this book, let me know anything you want to say, anything you want to talk about, I will talk about in this book. Anything I missed. I know there was a lot I probably didn't really get on to talk about, but just let me know down below. That's pretty much all I have to say. So I will have my social media linked down below if you want to interact with me on there. I'm very active on my Bookstagram. I'm trying to be. I have my Twitter. You can also support the channel if you want to. I have a Ko-fi and an Amazon wishlist you can check out down below. But that's all I have to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.